What's up everybody, Matt Moran here, and today I want to tell you about an invention that I just learned about recently, and I think it's a pretty genius solution to anyone who has snow traction problems, and it's something that I think is going to be really useful in my own life with my own 2019 Mustang Bullitt, but even also for this 2024 Subaru Crosstrek that I'm driving here currently. It's something you can use on basically everything, and it's a kind of device that I wish I knew about sooner, to be totally honest. So I know what you all might be thinking. The logical solution that everyone always suggests is just snow tires. Why not just get snow tires? And like I covered whenever I switched to all-season tires in my Mustang Bullitt last year, the thing about snow tires is, like I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania here. We have a handful of good snows every year, and usually those snowfalls get cleaned up pretty quick, so there's very, very few instances where I'm ever actually driving on snow, even in a place, that gets snowy, cold winters. There's just, the reality is that, unless you're driving on snow a lot, you're not going to really use snow tires to their maximum potential. Snow tires are designed to be driven on snow or ice, and so whenever you're driving on dry roads or wet roads, snow tires actually sometimes aren't the best solution. And the reality is that all-season tires are often going to be the better suited tire and actually give you slightly better grip. Now, obviously, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that all-season tires are going to be great in snow, and that is often not the case. Some people would say, oh, well, like this Subaru has all-wheel drive, and you have the X mode system, and this one even, this is a 2024 Crosstrek, and so that'll help you even more to get better traction. And while those things are certainly helpful, and all-wheel drive does certainly help get you going, all-wheel drive doesn't help you stop, it doesn't help you turn, and so that's where it's really going to come down to those tires. And as you can see here, even in a brand new Crosstrek with Subaru's famous symmetrical all-wheel drive system, all-season tires are still going to reach their limits fairly easily and lose traction. And so it's definitely going to come down to where you live, your situation, as far as what type of tires are right for you. But for someone like me, it just didn't make sense. And also, all the extra costs, snow tires cost a bunch of money, buying a whole new set of tires, a whole new set of wheels typically, unless you want to install them and uninstall them every year, which also costs a bunch of money. It's just a pain to always swap them over. They wear out really quickly when you get above 40 or 50 degrees, and like I said, they're not super grippy, as you can tell if you drive snow tires on dry days or even on wet days. They don't actually have a ton of grip unless you're on that snow. And so there's just a lot of compromises to snow tires. And so if you live in a place like I do where you get snow a handful of times a year, or if you live in a place that doesn't usually get snow but you go up into the mountains and you enjoy winter sports and that's the only time you ever need that, snow tires are going to be really expensive and not a great solution for these very rare instances. So what do you do in these rare instances whenever you do need that better snow traction but you don't want to have the compromise and all the other hassles the rest of the year? For a long time, the solution was always snow chains, which were the thing that's been around forever and are harder to install. They can damage your wheels and tires. They give you a bunch of vibrations when you're driving, and a lot of cars like this Subaru and Teslas as well, they won't even allow you, they don't recommend snow chains because it can mess with the car's ABS systems and all the traction control systems that modern cars have. And so snow chains just haven't evolved to keep up with modern car technology. So snow chains really aren't a great solution for a lot of people these days, but a lot of people still just use that because that's what everyone's known for a long time, and a lot of people don't realize that there's a better way. So here's the solution: K&K's Snow Socks, and I want to give them a big thank you for sponsoring this video. K&K's Snow Socks are made from a unique high-friction fabric that turns the whole surface of your tire into a high-friction area, allowing them to grip even better than snow tires can. They're quiet, durable, and reusable for years, won't damage your wheels or tires, they're safe to use with vehicles' modern safety systems, and they're easy to install. Let me show you. You simply stretch as much of the sock over the tire that you can, roll forward or backwards slightly, and cover the rest, checking to make sure that it's all covered properly and not contacting the suspension. It only takes a few minutes. Once you've verified that they're good to go, you're ready to conquer the snow. And as you can see, on that same bit of snow, the Snow Socks grip much better and power right on through that snow. Once you're done, they're just as easy to remove too. The socks do have a few limitations, like being limited to 25 miles per hour and needing to be removed once you reach pavement that isn't covered in snow, so they're not a replacement for snow tires if you do plan to do a lot of snow driving or driving back and forth between snowy and clear roads. K&K Snow Socks can be used where snow chains are required though, and they comply with all state regulations. They're compatible with over 450 different tire sizes, so they'll work with just about any vehicle and tire. They also come with gloves and carrying bags, and they're available to buy on Amazon. I'll include a link in the description. And if you'd like to see a comparison test of these snow socks against snow chains and snow tires, my friends at the Fastlane Car did a great video that demonstrates just how effective K&K's snow socks can be. I know I'll be keeping these in the trunk of my Mustang all winter long for extra peace of mind, knowing that I'll be prepared if I happen to get caught in a snowstorm. Let me know your thoughts on K&K's snow socks in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.